Ozark Highlands Radio is brought to you by the Ozark Folk Center State Park in Mountain View, Arkansas, a wonderful way to enjoy yesterday. On the web at ozarkfolkcenter.com.
Hey folks, this is Dave Smith, host of Ozark Highlands Radio. Welcome to our show. This week we'll feature the Nashville-based neo-folk string band Locust Honey with music and interviews with the band members. Aubrey Atwater will be giving us some history of the play party. And in our From the Vault segment, Mark Jones has a funny story about how old-time fiddler Red Gillihan wrote the KBTA Waltz. All that and more this week on Ozark Highlands Radio. All across the southern mountains, you'll find a tree called the honey locust. Lots of folks think honey from the blooms of those trees is the best tasting of all wild honey. This week, we feature a sweet band from Nashville called Locust Honey. Chloe Edmonstone, Meredith Wilson, and bassist John Miller bring their experience in old-time, bluegrass, and pre-war blues to both their original material and tunes of the American Southeast. Locust Honey visited us here at the Ozark Folk Center last summer. Let's go down to the stage and listen to their first set.
Whiskey's gone, the sun is rising, and you come please me to take you home. When the whiskey's gone, fun's all over, it'll do you good to spend the night alone. Well, I don't stand a chance against the bottle. Once there was a time I would have tried, but now I know that there always comes a moment when your walk becomes a stagger. Now life's dropped a sip, there's nowhere to go. When the whiskey's gone, the sun is rising, and you cry, please, baby, take me home. When the whiskey's gone, fun's all over, it'll do you good for the night alone. Hold tight to your lips and never let you go. No more will I be fooled by your slur to love you whisper. Drunken words don't mean a thing, and now I know. When the whiskey's gone, the sun is rising, and you come plead for me to take you home. When the whiskey's gone, fun's all over, it'll do you good, spend the night alone. Come please for me to take you home. When the whiskey's gone, fun's all over, it'll do you good, spend the night alone.
Before that, actually. It was actually Mount Airy, North Carolina, where we first
festival
ran
Mount
into
Airy
each other.
Fiddlers Convention. Yep. And we camped next to each other. I remember I was camped with my mom still at that time. I was like in high school. And she was there with her boyfriend and their big dog. And their dog kept getting loose in our campsite. And my mom was like, they need to keep track of their dog. and so that's how we met. But we didn't really become friends until a couple of years later.
Yeah. But we were part of like a much larger scene of people who go to these festivals all the time. Periodically throughout the year they happen. And so just like, I mean, it happened with us, but it happens with many people that we saw each other for probably a couple of years before we even played music near each other.
Yeah. And then one year, I remember she was saying she was going to move to Asheville. I needed a roommate at the time. We were talking about maybe living together, and then our guitar player, me and Ariel, who started the band, our guitar player decided not to be in the band anymore. And so we needed a guitar player for a couple of gigs we had. It wasn't a serious band at all. It was just a couple of gigs here and there. And then we're like, you should come over and play some tunes. And then there started Locust Honey.
Yeah.
Tell old Bill when he comes home this morning. Tell old Bill when he comes home this evening. Tell old Bill when he comes home, better leave them downtown girls alone. This morning, this evening, so soon. Bill left by the old stone gate this morning. Bill left by the old stone gate this morning. Bill left home about 8:30, and Mary called, now don't be late. This morning, this evening, so soon. Mary, she was making bread this morning. Mary, she was making bread this morning. Mary, she was making bread when she got the news that her Bill was dead this morning. Oh no, that can't be so this morning. Oh no, no, that can't be so this morning. Oh no, that can't be so. My Bill left here not an hour ago. Brought Bill home in a hurry-up wagon this morning. They brought Bill home in a hurry-up wagon this morning. They brought Bill home in a hurry-up wagon, and oh Lord, how his feet were dragging. This morning, this evening, oh, tell old Bill when he comes home this morning. Tell old Bill when he comes home this evening. Tell old Bill when he comes home, better leave them downtown girls alone. This morning, this evening, so soon.
No, that's not wrong. No, yeah, she was a clogger. I mean, the Greengrass Cloggers were a very well-known clogging group in the 70s and 80s, and she toured with them for a long time. And then they really needed a bass player for their house band, and so they told her to start playing bass. And then she started banjo, and then I was born, and then I
I had a brother who didn't go to anything, but I just went with her to fiddlers conventions like my whole life, and I just kind of learned from her friends and from her, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Were you known to clog, or are you still known to clog?
No, I don't really clog. I was trying, as much as I do everything, I have a lot of similar things that my mother was a dancer, and not just clogger, but dancer, and I was, and then we were both musicians, but I picked like the 2 instruments she didn't play, and like I didn't want to do everything like her. But
Didn't you win a clogging competition?
I won a couple of flat-footing contests, but I was like 8 and 9. I can do some basic stuff. I don't clog in front of people. Yeah.
You're a private clogger.
I'm a private clogger, thank you. Yes, there's not enough of us.
It's been 300 miles since I heard that rooster crow. Now town tucks in one more night, the whiskey starts to flow. Loading microphones, cables and guitars, and singing to a loaded house, and knees up to the bar. The faces are blurred with their shouting and their things. There's always one to catch my eye and fill me full of drinks. Take me home, new friend. If your words suit me well, I'm looking for cheers left to hold but not to dwell. Won't forget my tomorrow. I'll be gone, not a glimpse of us will be. A stranger's not for me to borrow. You'll put you back forever, think of me. The morning that I left your town, as far as I recall, Kansas City daybreak, we grabbed coffee just a stall. Rain's on the windshield, but the sun is in my eyes. It seems the night will always follow darkness I rely. That liquor treats me well, it don't hold me tight. No, it's been a while, but give me one more night. 6 months a year it had to be before I called your name. I'm coming back to your town, you'll have me just the same. Take me home, new friend. If your words suit me well, I'm looking for chairs left to hold but not to dwell. I won't forget my tomorrow. I'll be gone, not a glimpse of us will be. A stranger's not for me to borrow. You'll put you back forever, think of me. Take me home, new friend. If your words suit me well, I'm looking for chairs left to hold but not to dwell. Take me home, new friend.
So I started doing that, and in that I fell in love with the kind of in old like 20s and 30s blues. I guess the stories are very, very similar to like Appalachian Mountain stories. There are a few key characters that come up over and over again, and I loved like the objects in the stories, like the objects that people used to have around in their lives before kind of factories started building everything, and like the themes, like the old American themes. Everything was about like losing love, or like being broke, or taking a train somewhere, trying to build a life in this place that nobody understood yet, and of course like racial situations with everyone moving to this place at once, and as well as the people who were already living here, and I think I just really like the stories. So then when I fell in love with an old time fiddler, that was how I kind of got pulled into the old time music world, and it was a real quick transition because they're really close, I think.
lay down, little Henry, and stay all night with me. You won't find a girl in this damn world that will compare with me. And the wind did howl and the wind did blow, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee.
I can't get down and I won't get down and stay all night with thee. For that girl I have in that merry green land I love far better than thee. And the wind did howl and the wind did blow, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee. She leaned up against that little white fence for a kiss or two, and with the little pick knife she held in her hand, she plugged him through and through. And the wind did howl and the wind did blow, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down Henry Lee.
Come take him by his lily white hands, come take him by his feet, and throw him into this deep, deep well that's more than 100 feet. And the wind did howl and the wind did blow, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee. Lie there, little Henry Lee, till the flesh drops from your bones. That girl you had in that merry green land can wait forever for you to come home. And the wind did howl and the wind did blow, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee. And the wind did howl and the wind did blow, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee, la la la, la la lee. Little bird lit down on Henry Lee.
That was 4 tunes by the band Locust Honey. If that first song, When the Whiskey's Gone, sounded familiar, that's because it was featured in the 2014 film Time Out of Mind. That song was followed by Tell Old Bill, New Friend, and they finished up with Henry Lee. When we come back, we'll take a trip down to the vault to hear Mark Jones tell an interesting tale about fiddler Red Gillihan. This is Ozark Highlands Radio. I think this would be a good time to take a trip down into the vault and see what Mark Jones has come up with for our segment of Music from the Vaults here at the Ozark Folk Center. Hey, Mark, good to see you.
Dave, I'm glad to see you. I was wondering if you was going to make it this
Well,
week or not.
I'm a little late, but here I am.
I'm glad you're here.
Well, what have you been finding for us this week?
Well, you know what? I love good fiddle music. I just really enjoy a lot of the old hoedowns and waltzes and stuff like that. And, of course, my mom played fiddle, so that's why it's kind of close to my heart.
Well, there's nothing like that old-time fiddle music, and we had some fine old-time fiddlers around here for years and years, didn't we?
We sure did. You know, I run across a fella that I got a chance to work with when I first came to Mountain View, Red Gillihan, at the Ozark Folk Center. I was playing banjo up there some, and I just always admired Red Gillihan's fiddle playing.
Red was a fine fiddle player. In fact, he gave me some good pointers on the fiddle when I started playing.
Wow. Well, that's great, because you couldn't have got better instruction from anybody.
He became a combat veteran of the Pacific Theater in World War II. He was all over the South Pacific, took his fiddle with him, played a lot of music there in the South Pacific, came back here, worked all his life in the lumber industry as a logger and as a sawmiller in Arizona and here in Arkansas, but he continued to play the fiddle all that time.
Wow. Well, you can sure tell he spent a lot of time with it. One time they were at KBTA playing a radio show down there, and there was an extra 2 minutes that they had to fill on the program. They turned to Red and said, "Red, play something." And said he wrote the KBTA waltz, which they just kind of played them on out off the air with this waltz. And they said, "I've never heard that before." And he said, "Well, I just wrote it as we was going."
Oh, he made it up as he went along.
Made it up as he went along. So I tell you what, would you mind? I'd love to hear Red again. Let's play this tune and see what you think of it.
Let's listen to Red Gillihan playing the KBTA waltz. That's a great tune, Mark. He sure could play that fiddle, couldn't he?
He sure could. It was a beautiful waltz.
He's been passed on now for, I think 12 or 15 years, but his son Robert is a fine musician today and still playing here at the Folk Center.
That's true. And you know what we need to do? I need to dig around and find some stuff of Robert and Mary Gillihan, his wife, and maybe we can let you listen to that sometime.
That'd be great, Mark. Hey, thanks a lot. You take it easy, okay?
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
With a rotating instrumentation of fiddles, banjos, and acoustic and resophonic guitars, the neo-folk string band Locust Honey sets an emphasis on lively arrangements that showcase their signature vocal harmonies. They start this set off with a couple of classic tunes.
Woke up this morning feeling kind of rotten. I'd been drinking that 4-cent cotton.
Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton.
Oh, see that woman with a hole in her stocking. She's been drinking that 4-cent cotton.
Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton.
Oh, running down the road, skipping and hopping. I've been drinking that 4-cent cotton.
Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton.
But times are bad and times are rotten. Everybody's drinking that 4-cent cotton.
Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton.
Four-cent cotton, shores you're born. I'm gonna drink that Georgia corn.
Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton.
Woke up this morning feeling kind of rotten. I've been drinking that 4-cent cotton.
Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. Hey, hey, 4-cent cotton. I know. I mean, there's a fine line, though. I mean, I kind of, in my head, I think of cover songs of, like, if it was around and is written by someone that we know the name of, it's a cover song. And if it was just, like, that far back that no one even knows where it came from, and maybe the Carter family found it from some archive, like, or their grandmother's grandmother.
Or like out in some cabin out, you know, when A.P. Carter was like wandering around collecting songs.
Yeah. Then that's a traditional song. So, and I would say we do all three. We do traditional covers, but like rearranged covers that sound nothing like the original, and original songs.
Way down in Columbus, Georgia. Lord, I wish I was back in Tennessee. Way down in Columbus Stockade, where my friends all have turned their backs on me. Oh, go and leave me if you wish to. Never let me cross your mind. In your heart you love another, so go and
had both written songs before as part of our like musical journeys, all along there somewhere. But when we first started, or when I first came into this band, it was really just like when it was Chloe and Ariel and their previous guitar player Sarah. They had grown up playing old time music together, so it was just like assumed that it was an old time outfit. Basically,
Yeah.
that's just where we just started from, and we all love old time music a lot. But then, I think creatively, especially for myself and Chloe, that's one of like a lot of things that we love, and we both are driven by being creative in our lives, and so it was never really gonna last.
Stay an old time.
Yeah,
But I mean, even our original songs, they all kind of go back to that, like where both of us individually came from. I mean, we can't help but play.
yeah.
Put the bottle on the table. Let it stay there till I'm not able to see your face in every place that I go. I've been sitting here so long, just remembering you were gone. Well, one more drink of wine, and if you're still on my mind, one drink, just one more than another. I'll keep drinking, it won't matter. I'll just remember that I once had her. I don't know why I sit and cry every day. I've been trying to forget, but I haven't stopped it yet. Well, one more drink of wine, and if you're still on my mind, one drink, just one more than another. Put the bottle on the table. Let it stay there till I'm not able to see your face in every place that I go. I've been sitting here so long, just remembering you were gone. Well, one more drink of wine, and if you're still on my mind, one drink, just one more than another. One drink, just one more than another.
I don't actually think it's all that different. I mean, if you want to get into like really small details of fiddle tune melodies or like certain styles of playing in terms of like the bowing and stuff, you could. But I think Ozark old time music and Appalachian old time music are pretty similar.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I lived in Asheville for maybe 4 years, and even the city old time is different than like the surrounding areas, like Madison County, where they all grew up playing that, as opposed to everyone moving to Asheville later. I mean, but here it seems like it's pretty rooted in everyone. I mean, last time we were here, played the same night as the children's show, and they were so great. And I mean, they all grew up here, I'm assuming, and it seems like it's their heritage, and it sounds great, and it sounds similar to all the Appalachian music I know.
Yeah, if you had gone to a performance of like the kids' mountain music school in Madison County, it would have sounded probably very much the same.
A lot of the same songs.
Yeah,
too.
same ballads. There was one tiny little girl that sang this ballad last year that had like 30 verses in it. It was so cute, and she did such a good job. And there's the same in Madison County. There's this huge tradition of ballad singing as well. Yeah, so pretty similar as far as like the larger picture is concerned.
You've been listening to the band Locust Honey play 4-Cent Cotton, the Columbus Stockade Blues, Just One More, and the fiddle tune Hell Broke Loose in Georgia. After the break, we'll hear from Aubrey Atwater about the history of the play party. You're listening to Ozark Highlands Radio.
Goodbye, girls, I'm going to Boston. Goodbye, girls, I'm going to Boston. Goodbye, girls, I'm going to Boston early in the morning. Saddle up, girls, and let's go with them. Saddle up, girls, and let's go with them. Saddle up, girls, and let's go with them early in the morning.
In this segment, I'm thinking about the history of the play party, or the play party game, play party songs, games, and dances. From about 1840 to 1950, that was quite a phenomenon in rural America, especially in the Midwest and the South. In fact, the earliest known play party has been documented in Batesville, Arkansas. So what is a play party? A play party was a social gathering with a bunch of dances and songs and games that were acceptable to church culture and church communities. People didn't want the young people dancing. They didn't want them to touch their waists, and it might lead to drinking or, God forbid, banjo playing or fiddle playing. Those things were thought to be raucous and the work of the devil, sinful, and so the play party emerged in American society, and there were all these games and dances and little ditties. We all remember them from our childhoods, and children are still learning little versions of these, like the Itsy Bitsy Spider or London Bridges Falling Down or Ring Around the Rosie. We still do these with children. There were different categories of play party games and songs. There were the ones for the little kids, like the ones I just mentioned, and then there were some for sort of the middle range age groups, like what we think of as middle school kids or older elementary school kids. Something like Old Roger is Dead was a little song where kids would stand in a circle and sing certain lyrics, and the character of Roger would be lying in the middle. It was almost theatrical, like a little play. And then the older kids, the ones that were courting, the teenagers and the young adults, they wanted to dance. They wanted to interact. They wanted to flirt. They wanted to do it in a way that was acceptable to their communities. And so an example of that would be singing Goodbye, Girls, I'm Going to Boston, or Over the River to Feed My Sheep, or Killy Cranky. And they would do intricate dances that we know of as square dances, like the Virginia Reel to Over the River to Feed My Sheep, or also known as Charlie or Weevily Wheat. And that was one of the most widely sung songs and dances in the long play party era. And there was no instrumentation most of the time. They were just singing to their heart's content and dancing, basically doing a square dance or a line dance with the moves like promenade and circle to the right, circle to the left, peel the banana, all these different moves, but in a way that was acceptable within the confines of church mores.
Killy cranky is my song, sing and dance it all day long. From my elbow to my wrist, now we do the double twist. Broke my arm, swinging through Nancy. Broke my leg, dancing killy cranky. Killy cranky is my song, sing and dance it.
So Killycranky is a real place in Scotland, but some of the words are just very playful. People used to like to sing and dance to Killycranky simply because they could put their arms around each other or hook arms in a swing. So the play party from community to community in rural America, especially Midwest and Southern America, varied from community to community. There were slightly different rules everywhere. Sometimes people could swing by touching waists versus swinging with the crook of your arm. In a lot of communities, kissing games were forbidden, like spin the plate or spin the bottle. They were forbidden. But in some communities, like the Ritchie community in eastern Kentucky, they were permissible. Over the River Charlie is also known as Over the River to Feed My Sheep, and that also has Scottish roots and makes reference to Bonnie Prince Charlie. And it has just wonderful, playful words.
Charlie's neat, Charlie's sweet, Charlie's a dandy. Charlie, he's a very lad that stole my scrappy candy. Over the river to feed my sheep, over the river, Charlie. Over the river to feed my sheep and to measure up my barley. My pretty little pink, I once did think I never could do without you. Since I lost all hopes of you, I care very little about you. Over the river to feed my sheep, over the river, Charlie. Over the river to feed my sheep and to measure up my barley.
People would work all day on their farms and laboring in their different jobs, and then for recreation they would dance for hours, and they would go fast. So with Over the River Charlie, imagine people singing that song really fast and dancing the Virginia reel to it. And that's just yet another of hundreds of examples of play party games and songs that were sung and played in American play party history from approximately 1840 to 1950.
Over the river to feed my sheep, over the river, Charlie. Over the river to feed my sheep and to measure up my barley.
Our featured band this week, Locust Honey, stay busy touring the U.S., the U.K., and Ireland. I noticed on their touring schedule that in March they played 27 shows in 29 days on their recent tour to the British Isles. We'll finish our show with 3 more songs by Locust Honey.
Trials, troubles, tribulations, such has never been before. When the angels pour upon you their vows of dread forevermore. When fire comes down from heaven and the blood shall fill the sea, I'll be carried on my Jesus and forever with him be. shall fill the sea. I'll be carried on by Jesus, and forever with him be. Trials, troubles, tribulations, such has never been before. When the angels pour upon you their vows of dread forevermore. When the fire comes down from heaven and the blood shall fill the sea, I'll be carried on by Jesus, and forever with him be, and forever with him be.
Before I entered the old time music world, I didn't have a musical community at all. And I could never, ever do what we do now without, if I were rewinding back, randomly hiring people, like having no mutual vocabulary about music. Like, I could never do that. I don't know what, for me, the old time music world was completely essential to like my future as a musician. An ability to just do it. We use our community all the time for gigs in places we've never been, places to stay, like as musicians to come up and join us on like different gigs. Community is a gigantic part of it.
Down in the willow garden where me and my true love did meet, there we sat courting, my love fell asleep. I had a bottle of burgundy wine and my love did not know. There I murdered that dear little girl way down on the banks below. I drove my dagger through her, it was a bloody knife. I threw her in the river, it was an awful sight. My father often told me that money would set me free if I did murder that dear little girl whose name was Rose Connolly. And there he sat at his old cabin door, wiping his tear-brimmed eyes, mourning the death But yeah, this music, like, you just listen to folk music and you think about, like, you just have this picture of, like, people and where they lived and what they were doing. And that's pretty much what it's meant to do.
It is really a salve for really stressful times, I think, modern times.
Ain't seen nothing on my job on since. So job on, Jenny, get along. Here comes Sally with the big boots on. Dance all night with a bottle in your hand, bottle in your hand, bottle in your hand. Dance all night with a bottle in your hand, just for the day, give the fiddler a drink. Here since I've been gone, pretty little girl with a red dress on. She took it off and I put it on. Here comes Sally with the big boots on. Dance all night with a bottle in your hand, bottle in your hand, bottle in your hand. Dance all night with a bottle in your hand, just for the day, give the fiddler a drink.
You've been listening to the Nashville-based neo-folk band Locust Honey. In that set, they played Trials, Troubles, and Tribulations, Willow Garden, and Dance All Night with a Bottle in Your Hand. That about does it for this week's show. Drop us a message on our Facebook page. We'd love to hear from you. And visit our website, ozarkhighlandsradio.com. Until next week, this is Dave Smith. So long, everybody.
Ozark Highlands Radio is produced by Jeff Glover. Executive producer is Darren Dorton. Additional support for this program comes from the Committee of 100, proudly supporting the Ozark Folk Center State Park since 1974, and by Arkansas State Parks, with 52 unique reasons to visit the natural state. More information online at arkansasstateparks.com. For information on upcoming shows and events, we are on the web at ozarkhighlandsradio.com. Until next time, I'm Donna Farrar.